The 2025 NFL honors told a clear story about where the league is right now, and it was a story shaped by dominance, redemption, and expectation-shattering leadership. At the center of it stood Mike Vrabel, a coach whose reputation was already well established, but whose impact in New England exceeded even optimistic projections. Around him were players who didn't just have good seasons, but seasons that reframed how their careers are viewed. From Myles Garrett's historic pass rushing campaign to Christian McCaffrey's emphatic return to form. When the Patriots hired Mike Vrabel, the move made sense on paper. He had proven he could build tough, disciplined teams, and he had already won Coach of the Year once in Tennessee. What nobody realistically expected was the speed and magnitude of the transformation in New England. A team that went 4-13 the previous season didn't just become respectable or sneak into the playoffs, it exploded into a 14-3 juggernaut and earned a trip to Super Bowl LX. That kind of turnaround doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen without total organizational buy-in. Vrabel's comments after winning Coach of the Year for the second time revealed why his influence travels so quickly through a building. He didn't frame the award as personal validation. He framed it as a reflection of belief, of people committing to a vision before the results were obvious. That language matters because it speaks to the hardest part of coaching at the professional level, convincing grown men to trust a process when losing has become familiar. The Patriots didn't just change schemes or tendencies. They changed expectations, and Vrabel was the connective tissue that made that shift possible. Winning the award again also places Vrabel in a rare category. Coach of the Year is often a narrative award tied to surprise and momentum. Winning it twice suggests something more durable, a coach who can build different versions of success in different environments. The fact that edged out strong candidates like Liam Cohen and Mike McDonald only reinforces how dramatic New England's rise was. This wasn't just improvement. It was a complete reset of the franchise's trajectory. On the defensive side of the ball, Myles Garrett's Defensive Player of the Year award felt both inevitable and historically significant. Garrett didn't just dominate games, he dominated conversations. Setting an NFL record with 23 sacks places his season in a category that transcends era and scheme. It forces comparisons not just with his contemporaries, but with legends of the sport. At 30 years old, he's no longer just chasing individual accolades. He's chasing immortality on the all-time sack list. What makes Garrett's second DPOA especially notable is the sense of finality around it. There was no controversy, no split opinion, no lingering debate. The award was unanimous, and that unanimity reflects how clearly his impact stood apart from the rest of the league. Defensive awards often hinge on advanced metrics, positional value, or team success. Garrett simplified the equation. He wrecked offenses consistently, visibly, and relentlessly. When he said he hoped the vote would be unanimous, it didn't come off as arrogance. It sounded like an athlete who understood exactly what he put on film. His career arc also challenges the idea that defensive greatness peaks early. Instead of fading or plateauing, Garrett appears to be refining his craft, combining elite athleticism with veteran awareness. If health holds, his pursuit of the top 5 all-time sack leaders isn't speculative. It's realistic, and that alone reframes how his career will be discussed long after he retires. The Offensive Rookie of the Year award went to Tetearoa McMillan, and while his season didn't generate constant national headlines, it quietly anchored a division-winning Panthers offense. Over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns may not scream superstardom in a league obsessed with explosive numbers, but consistency matters, especially for a rookie. McMillan didn't flash and disappear. He showed up weekly, earned trust, and contributed to winning football. What stood out most in his acceptance remarks was humility. He framed the award not as proof of individual arrival, but as a shared achievement. That mindset is often what allows young players to sustain success beyond their first season. Beating out quarterbacks and high-profile skill players suggests voters valued reliability and impact over raw hype. In that sense, McMillan's win reflects a broader shift toward rewarding substance over spectacle. The introduction of the Protector of the Year award marked a symbolic turning point for the league, and Joe Thuney was the ideal inaugural recipient. Offensive linemen rarely receive individual recognition outside of Pro Bowls and all-pro teams, despite being foundational to every offensive success story. Thuney's career embodies that reality. He's durable, versatile, and consistently excellent, traits that don't always trend on social media but win games in December and January. His move to Chicago didn't diminish his level of play, and winning this award in his first season with the Bears underscored how seamlessly great linemen elevate new environments. Thuney's reaction emphasized professionalism and accountability, crediting teammates and focusing on collective performance rather than personal dominance. That tone aligns perfectly with what the award is meant to celebrate: protection, stability, and trust. Christian McCaffrey's Comeback Player of the Year award closed the night on a note of redemption. After a season largely lost to injury, he didn't just return. He shouldered one of the heaviest workloads in the league and thrived under it. Over 2,100 yards from scrimmage and 17 touchdowns isn't just a comeback. It's a statement about durability, preparation, and mental resilience. McCaffrey's performance challenged lingering doubts about whether his body could handle sustained usage at an elite level. By playing all 17 games and remaining productive throughout, he reasserted himself as one of the most complete offensive players in football. The voting reflected that clarity. While other candidates had compelling narratives, none matched the combination of volume, efficiency, and team impact that McCaffrey delivered. Taken together, the awards painted a picture of a league that still values dominance but increasingly respects context. Coaching mattered. Availability mattered. Consistency mattered. These weren't hollow honors handed out for flashy moments. They were acknowledgments of seasons that reshaped teams, legacies, and expectations. As the NFL heads into Super Bowl LX, these awards also serve as a backdrop to the game itself. Vrabel's Patriots represent organizational revival. Garrett's Browns are anchored by generational defense. McCaffrey's 49ers rely on reliability as much as explosiveness. Even players like Thuney and McMillan symbolize the league's quieter pillars, the ones who don't always lead highlight reels but define outcomes. NFL Honors isn't just a celebration of the past season. It's a snapshot of where power, respect, and belief currently reside in the league. And this year, that snapshot was unusually clear. The 2025 NFL Honors told a clear story about where the league is right now, and it was a story shaped by dominance, redemption, and expectation-shattering leadership. At the center of it stood Mike Vrabel, a coach whose reputation was already well established, but whose impact in New England exceeded even optimistic projections. Around him were players who didn't just have good seasons, but seasons that reframed how their careers are viewed. From Myles Garrett's historic pass rushing campaign to Christian McCaffrey's emphatic return to form. When the Patriots hired Mike Vrabel, the move made